Vision of Adventure. Winter Fitness Class W01.08. The 30th of January, 2024. With Kath Finn.
This is a recording of a live class, so there will be conversation and chat between the participants during the class. For this class you will need a stationary bike with adjustable resistance. Your saddle needs to be set at a comfortable height. Ideally your knee needs to be slightly bent as you reach the bottom of the pedal stroke. Please pause this recording if you need to adjust your bike. We will join the class recording in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Recording in progress. Here we go. So, good evening. Oh, and we have, I think I said, the nicest collection of smiling faces we've had since we started this session. I don't know why everyone's smiley tonight, but you are. You must know what I've got planned, which is a bit of something a little bit different. So we've got Sue from Scarborough Sue. We've got Esther. We've got Linda in London. We've got Teresa. We've got Ian. We've got Katie, also London-based. We've got Molly. I'm not quite sure where Molly resides. And we've got Ellie. And then obviously me. So I need to get the timer on because we're going to do 4 minutes of just steady warming up. So we want to be turning the legs, getting the blood going, easing into the fact that we've left our day behind and we've come on here to have a lovely time, do a bit of exercise, improve our cycling for the summer, and be in a slightly different world for a bit, maybe, which is sometimes quite nice and sometimes maybe not. So we'll do 4 minutes getting harder, and then we'll go back to easy, and we'll do another 4 minutes getting harder. And we've just done half a minute. So, yeah, I've had a very varied and busy day.
I don't know if everyone else, but you're all breaking up.
So I managed to get into the gym before I did any work. So before 8 o'clock, I was in the gym. That went quite well for me, so that was good. And then I had quite a long chat with a client on the phone who I coach one-to-one for trail running and cycling. I wrote her program for the next little bit. And then the cycle studio that I coach in is running VO2 tests, which give your heart rate training zones and your maximum oxygen use. And I did a test last week with somebody. So today I went down and I made my first ever video about all the results to post onto him. So that was quite exciting. And then I had to go and see a friend because tomorrow night we're doing a mobility session. And we had to go through the whole program, who was doing which exercise, why we were doing them, what the tips are for getting them right, what to do to improve. So that was great. Then I came home, went for a quick run, planned tonight, and here we are. So, oh, and after this, I have another client call with somebody who's currently in Australia for a month or so. So accept her time zones. And she's just getting up, and I'm hoping to just go to bed, and we're going to chat. So it's quite a good day, really. She's going to do triathlon. She's done a couple of sprints, but she wants to do a standard, and then possibly a middle distance, so half Ironman later in the year. So all is good. To add to that excitement, my husband managed to fall off his bike into the gutter, so that was cool. It's really, really unusual for him. And then he took down the guy he was riding with as well.
Oh, dear.
Any serious injuries?
No serious injuries, one slightly scraped knee, and I think maybe one slightly scraped bike. But generally good. Yeah, and a bit of a dent and pride, and a bit shocked, I think, right, in the last minute of this force, so a little bit more effort, although I love your concern. I think I keep forgetting, but he is 68. And I think coming off your bike always gives you a bit of a jolt, and makes you kind of a little bit nervous of, oh my God, how did that happen?
Yeah.
So although he's actually not really hurt, I think it has given him a bit of a fright, which is a shame. And he's a really consistent, straight rider. Now, if you want to follow somebody in a group, he's a really good person normally. So I don't know quite what happened. I
It's
wasn't
still very
there.
wet
Is it very wet?
out on your road.
Yeah, it is quite damp, and there is quite a lot of water around, and also quite a lot of debris. So maybe he hit some of that. Right, if you have managed to increase your effort, then take your effort back to being easy, and let's have a little bit more focus on this one. It's lovely. No, it's just half a minute gone there, so
Oh, stop, Steve joined. Yeah.
oh, Steve's here. Hiya, Steve. He's just getting himself attached to everything. The audio is going to come through in a minute. So 1 minute gone, so put a little bit more resistance in. But we don't want you dying by the end of it, so just like, you know, pace yourself a little bit. And another half a minute. So you're going to come up to halfway through this little block. Okay, halfway through, you've got 2 more minutes. So 1 or 2 of you look like you're working reasonably hard, so keep that level of effort. Those of you who are just having a nice picnic, you know, just kind of put it up a little bit. Welcome, Steve.
Sorry I'm late.
No worries. You've not missed anything. We're just warming up.
I managed to delete the email instead of opening it.
Oh, no. Oh. I think you've done really well to be here at all in that case.
Frantic searching.
Yeah, I had a bit of frantic searching for the details to get the metronome. I think I did the same for that email. I found a little piece of card in the end. I remembered where I'd hidden it. 1 more minute. So just nudge that up. And half a minute to go. Few seconds. Lovely. 2 blocks of 4 minutes done. So whatever effort you've put in, you have at least turned your legs now for 8 minutes. And now we're going to go for those little 10-second burns where we're working our legs really hard. but it's only 10 seconds. So we want to turn them over very quickly, very high cadence, and you need a bit of resistance to manage to get that amount of cadence in. So we're going to do 4, and we do 10 seconds on, and then we have 50 seconds to recover. So it's only 10 seconds, nice long rest, only 10 seconds. All right?
Right.
3, 2, 1, and go. Nice and fast, 10 seconds. Brilliant. Fantastic efforts going in. 3, 2, 1, rest for 50. But rest does mean keep your legs turning. Well done. Nice job. You've still got a whole 30 seconds of rest to go. Ian's on blue tonight, no pink. Okay, you've got 5 seconds left before we go again. 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds hard. 3, 2, 1, and ease. And I'm going to have a nice, easy day tomorrow because the next day I'm going on the hills with my son. Well, he's a pretty mean fell runner. So I've suggested a walk run, but I have a nasty feeling about how this is going to end. It might not be good. And his girlfriend is equally mean and is kind of, stick-sized and about 15 kilos lighter than I am. So go in again. 3, 2, 1, and go. 3, 2, 1, relax. That's great cadence, Linda. Well done. Not that everyone else isn't, but I am going to get them to carry all the food and my spare kit. All right, you've got half a minute. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds hard. Last one. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Great job. I can see lots and lots of bodies just like all shaking and grimacing and going through it. So we'll just have a little bit of just, if you want to drink, have one. And then what we're going to do is go on a journey. So I'm not sure whether it will last the whole session, but we're going to do the route that I very often do in the winter from my house. So there will be some kind of spinning your legs quickly downhill. There'll be some flat bits. There'll be some standing up to get up the hills. And I'll kind of try and describe it as we go. It's normally about 2 hours, so it's just over 20 miles. But obviously we're going to, you guys, you can cycle that in 45 minutes, no sweat. So we'll see. So if we're ready to go, I am very lucky in terms of starting a ride because I start by going downhill. And I live in a farmhouse, so it's a single track road. So although it is downhill, we're going to ride with just a steady 90 cadence, if that, because It's very chossy. Oh, that's 100. Don't get too excited. 90, thank you. That's better. There's your 90. So we're just going down and we're bumping over the rough bits, and we're just being careful that we can brake if we go over the blind little humps. And now, normally we would stop pedaling here because we're coming down to the main road, which is very fast. Cars are going 60, 70 miles an hour on it. But there's a nice little feed-in that you can kind of stop in if there's traffic coming. So we're going to push off into that, and we only go about 500 yards on this. So we're going to do a nice steady 90. We're very well controlled. We're just warming up, so we don't need too much effort. And we want to make sure that we're safe on this bit. We're surrounded by fields and hedges, and we've got the odd lorry, like delivery van and stuff going past. Now we all want to indicate to the right, and I know that you're the ones that get that job on the tandems. So there we go, and we're going to go all across the middle because we've seen there's no traffic coming, and we're bending round to the right. And now we're on a bit that goes downhill, and it snakes, which is even better. So we want to pick the cadence up. Oh, I don't know what's happened to this. Sorry. It all used to just line up nice and neatly, and tonight it's decided it doesn't want to. So that's 100 going down the hill. And it's enough to get a feel of the wind, and there's enough if you want to kind of be leaning your bike from side to side around the bends because there's nothing coming. Nice. It's a lovely good road. Going along, and if we're in a good mood and we're just dying, we're probably going wee, because that's my kind of brain when I'm cycling. Sorry, I do put my sensible head on when I'm piloting, but you might also get the odd wee out of me. And now, obviously, what goes down has to come up.
Go up.
We're going up a little uphill. So I want you to keep your side put your hill. So we're not going to like settle into it and grind. We're just going to pedal quite quickly, get up to the top, and it'll only take us about half a minute. And we look behind, and there's a delivery wagon sitting there, and there's a blind corner at the top, so it's just going to have to wait. And off we go. Coming to the top, and we're going round very top. Settles down a bit, so we're now going to just drop the cadence a bit to 90. And we're cycling along this lane. And we've said we'll meet some people, so we're a little bit late. So we do want the 90, which you can still hear, I hope. And we want an effort level of about 7, so we can do the broken sentence type of thing. So there's quite a long bit of road that is fairly flat that we can hold this effort level for. So we're cycling along when there's tiny downhill. We get over a really old stone bridge that obviously fell over in Storm Desmond, and it goes over the river where there's crayfish live. And in the summer there's a pool, and we used to go there with the kids and swim. And it's really clear. It's obviously cold, but you can see all the stones underneath, and you can feel the shape of the pebbles under your feet when you're going in. It's lovely. I go past that, and we keep going, and there's almost like a ruined castle on the left, and it's part of a farm. There's a turret, and it looks a bit spooky. And then we turn right, and slightly less dramatic, we go past United Utilities and Cropper's Paper Mill. Huge factory for the very small village on the left, and they make all the paper for Poppy Day, apart from along with a lot of other stuff. And the lane is quite narrow, so we're pulling out and pulling in, but we've still got that effort, but it's used a lot by dog walkers. So, Katie, we're not going to stop and pat all the dogs, but there's a black Labrador we've just gone past, and then there's a bulldog trotting along just behind its owner, and there's some cyclists coming the other way, so give them a wave and say hi, because that's polite. And then we get to the end of that and we take the resistance off, because we might have to stop, ease out a little bit. We indicate right, because we're going to turn right and we're going to take the back road. Oh, I've got one person who's being safe. Thank you. Thank you, Ian. And then we're going to Staveley, where there's some really good cafes, but don't get too hopeful. So we're now pedaling the back road to Staveley. So we're going up a bit of a hill. It's a little bit of a grind. So we'll have a bit of standing up. So don't worry about the metronome. Because for this steep bit, you get enough resistance to be able to stand and really push your bikes up this hill. I like it. Oh, it's funny now. It's gone quiet at this end. And we're bending around the bend past the Bluebell Wood, up to the top, and looking left, there's a golf course, and there's a place called Cowan Bridge, which is really expensive flats that I don't know if they ever actually sold. And we're coming up to the brow. Keep going, hold it for another little bit. And whoo! We can sit down, and then what goes up, we're going to come down again. And this is lovely steep little downhill. So we don't rest on our laurels, we're off. So that's a pretty quick cadence to make the most of the downhill before our gears have got sorted. And we're sweeping around the bend at the bottom. And then immediately back uphill. Just for quite a short one this time. Standing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There. And then sit and drive. Put your resistance up, use the hill and use that descent. So we're going past, there's a farm on the left and it's smelly because it's got loads of horses and the muck heap's right next to the road. And now we're being a bit careful because they take horses out, there's loads of mud on the road. Downhill a little bit and we're getting to where there's a huge bump, so we're going to go left a bit to miss it. They will eventually fill it in, but they haven't yet. And then we're coming up to the sewage work, so you can hold your nose if you want. It's really glamorous. And just outside Staveley. And we're facing the last hill, not of the ride, before we hit the village. So up we go again. It was Linda who asked for uphill, so you can talk to her afterwards. So we're standing in this one. This one often gets me. This one's quite steep. It's got some trees on both sides. It's really narrow. I nearly jumped Steve Bateman in the hedge here because we met a Land Rover coming down with a trailer. That would have been bad. So I managed not to do that, and we're getting near to the top, but just hold on to it. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sit. And there's a beautiful house on the right now with massive glass windows on the first floor, which must get really hot, but it looks spectacular. And there's a lovely wood called Craggy Wood, but we're keeping that kind of general pedal going.
You're breaking up. I can't catch what you're saying, Kat.
Are other people's thumbs up if you're struggling to hear me? Linda, it's your system. Everyone else can
Not
hear.
all the time.
Um,
All right, okay, sorry.
so I'm sorry, but
Only
everyone's
just sometimes it breaks up. Okay,
saying it's all right.
okay.
So craggy wood, the crunchy leaves on the road in the autumn, and sometimes you can smell that damp, earthy smell as you go through. And there's a big rope swing in there, and there's loads of places to make bends and things like that. And we're dropping away from that, and we're along the river. So it's not a huge river. It's probably paddleable rather than swimming, but it's really lovely. So we go along there and we turn over the bridge, turn left, and we're coming into Staveley Village. Now, this is quite early on our ride, so I'll just let you continue to pedal because there are two, in fact, three big cafes here, but we're going to miss all of them. So we're going out through the village and then we're heading up another hill. And this one is a bit of a drag. So we've done some of this before. Remember the really slow cadence with high resistance. So we want to be trying to sit and trying to use our glutes, our bum muscles and our quads, the ones on the front of our legs, to really push. So this is strength work. And it should feel like quite hard work. And we've turned our backs on Mr. Duffin's, which has really lovely coffee. He brews it on the premises. Moore's, which is really well known for baked goods and particularly bread. Baker makes his own amazing sourdough and seaweed breads and lots of things like that. And then there's Wilf's Cafe, which we went to for years, and it was owned by someone we knew. And it's now owned by some Polish people, and I haven't been for a while, so I'm not sure. But that has riverside seating. You sit out the back in the summer and just listen to the noise of the river going past, which is really nice. So we're going to leave all of those because it's winter and they've started charging for car parking at extortionate rates. So on principle, I'm not paying. And we're going up the hill still. And we're starting to get nice views across the valleys. Really quiet road. Big enough for people to overtake. It's really nice, apart from the fact it's uphill. So you're coming up and it's easing off. So we want to try and keep quite a bit of resistance, but that's a 70, so it's getting less. And now we're on 84 as life gets easier. So you can take a bit of the resistance off. And we're starting to come over the brow of the hill. And in front of us here, we have a lovely flat bit of road. So you could say, first of all, if anybody needs to drink, it's a good time to drink on a bike because the road is flat, there's no bumps, we can see what's happening. There's a few sheep bowing on one side of us, but apart from that, and there's a farmer on a quad bike taking them some food. So we can hear all of that. Can't hear any cars at all. Bit of a sense of space. And now we can see ahead of us. Most people have had the drinks, so that's good. So now we want to kind of pick it up. Quite a fast pace at quite a hard effort. So it's 100 cadence, the beat you can hear. So it's a flat road. So we want to be at about effort level 7, but we've got that little bit of hard cadence, making it a bit more. So just really clicking along with the winds behind, feel amazing, working for it. It's fantastic. And if you're really, really lucky, you'll feel the sun on your back. But I haven't felt that for so long, I can't quite remember what it feels like. Brilliant.
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, is it going to be like it tomorrow? That's a fantastic effort. Just use the resistance off a bit. So you've still got a 90 cadence, which you'll now probably feel sounds quite slow. And you want to be really in recovery mode. So we're coming up to a couple of narrow bends where we can't see so well. So sensibly we've slowed down. And we're going down a little hill, but there's a T-junction that we have to stop at. So you just keep pedaling, but we'll pretend we're stopping there looking for traffic. And then we're going to turn right. If anyone's got vision, I have my hand out. And we're going to go along towards the pub, but I haven't been to that one for a bit. So we're then going to turn left. And we're going to go down the hill. And this has got a couple of bends. Have to be slightly careful. Make sure that we don't crash into anything. But we can pick up a little bit of speed. So we'll put the metronome back up. So the cadence is up, but keep your pedaling effort-wise relatively easy. So it's probably a 5. It's not as hard as it was before because we're going down hills, around bends. And again, there's things like a little wren tweeting on the wall, and there's some blackbirds shouting away at each other. And you can smell in the spring, there's some gorse on the right-hand side. It's a bright yellow flower, but really strong, almost sickly smell. And we're riding like that. And there's a little dip and a little pull up. So just take the pull up by standing for 10. On your legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and sit over the worst of it. And that's a lovely way just to hold your momentum. Although on a tandem, I find it quite difficult to stand. I know some of you have it down to a well-practiced art, but I'm not that good. So if you're ever with me piloting, you'll just have to sit there and really push. And then it's coming towards a bit where we can pick that pace up again. So I'll actually take the cadence down. So you're back to your 90 almost. But we want a kind of 6 resistance, so there's some undulation. It's reasonably hard work again. And it's just going to be like that around the next few bends. And we're heading towards Underbarrow, which has a pub. But again, we really want to get to Levens to stop, so we're on a bit of a mission here. These are all really quite small Lakeland villages. They don't have a shop. Staveley has shops, it's the biggest one. It has a chip shop and a chemist and a butcher's and a spa, actually. But Underbarrow has nothing except a pub. So we're going through Underbarrow, we're bending right, bending left, and we've turned onto a different road. But the same kind of landscape. There's some fields, there's some hedges, there's some woodland. We might meet a couple of cars. And we're kind of going pretty well for it. There's going to be a couple of hills coming up, which will stand for just to hold that momentum. And I can see the first one. So I gave you a really bad counting last time. So we'll go 3, 2, 1, stand up. We've hit the hill. And we're going up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cracked it. Sit down and drive on. Okay, maybe not. Sit down and have a rest. And you do get a lot more rest on the roads than you do riding a turbo, because you have to keep pedaling on this kind of a lot of the time. And there isn't such an airflow, so you generate more heat. And we're going along, there's often flowers in the spring here, there's tulips coming out. It's not very smelly, but in the summer you get honeysuckle and that's nicer. Oh, and then there is the worst little sharp hill on the whole thing. And I can see that just round the corner. It's quite narrow, so you need to hope we don't meet a car, because that's not cool. So we're going in at 3, 2, 1, and stand. And this is 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time, keep your legs turning, turn your resistance so it's really easy, and we'll use the flat bit of road to recover. Well pedalled, you got up that bit, and quite often people have to walk on it because it is pretty steep. So we're puddling along this flat. This is a really accurate description of the route I ride quite a lot. But so we're puddling along the flat bit, recovering. And in the summer, we're coming up to this magic garden that we call it. And he does loads of, like, they're not even hanging baskets. They're where you get a whole cascade of flowers on coming down the side of the house from those plastic hanging poles. Have about 6 sets of flowers in them. And the other side where the garden is just absolute burst of colour. It's amazing. And everything else around it is green, so there's this real contrast. And you can hear, like, they obviously shoot a lot of pheasants in the woods just beyond his house, because you can see it squawks and flutters. And I've never hit a pheasant on a bike yet. I have hit a rabbit, but not a pheasant. And somebody did get hit by a deer once in these woods.
Really?
Yeah, it's not good. You can't do much about that, but he was not happy. But we're not going to see any deer today, or at least they're not across the road. We might see them right, and just hear that jump, that rustle as they're jumping through the bushes. And again, there's that in the spring. There's a load of bluebells, and you can just. I don't know how to describe that scent. Weird. But it's also quite distinctive. I have no idea how to describe it. So we're going past all of those things. And then I can kind of sense the pub. So we definitely want to get...
Are we stopping for a drink?
We are going to stop for a drink. Oops, I'm just looking for the right. Got a little bit to go first, Linda. No, we should be on 100 as soon as this picks up. There we go. And it's back up. You've had a bit of a rest time while I've given you the sights and sounds of beautiful Cumbria. And now we need to be pedaling with a effort level 7, because we're getting a bit worried that we might have missed opening hours, closing for their afternoon rest. So we need to get a shimmy on. Well, if they close, if the pub's shut, we guess we could go to the village shop. They also do coffee. And this is where the person that comes to our house to massage us lives. And it's just above the place called the Flats, which, as its name, it's flat. It's about the only place in Cumbria that is, but it's flat. And it was all embankment a long time ago to keep the sea out. It's actually lower than the sea level. And it does get flooded when it rains quite badly. It can go up above and all the water shimmering away. So we're not going to go down there on this ride because we don't want to get too wet and soggy. We actually want to get to the pub. So we should still be going to that pub. Then, oh, whoa, I think we need to ease off to 90. Right, clearly, I can't give you all drinks down Zoom, so bad luck. So we'll just kind of wave at it, but it does do good coffee. Metaphorically, we'll stop, but and it has a nice little garden bit outside which catches the sun. So that would probably be our stop. And we're going to go, oh, we'll go on a little bit actually. So we're going to go on a different section of flatland. We're going to pass Levens Hall, which has topiary, cut hedges. It's really well known for that. It's also got the best cafe in the area, which has a really good cake. And they're very nice and efficient. They love bicycles, and they have an outdoor seated area, which is really very sheltered. So I've never looked at the hedges, but I have drank lots of coffee and eaten a lot of cake there. And there's a deer park. So among other attractions, we really do have proper deer now. And we're going to go onto the flatland. So these roads are great. They are pan flat. So they're really good for practicing drafting. So we're going to do a little bit of work. We're going to pick our cadence up. And we're going to go back to that working 5-6 effort maybe. And we're not dawdling, we're putting a bit of effort in. And it must be, I don't know whether you all know drafting, but if you ride behind another bike quite close, you get pulled by a long line of bikes and the person the work. So, you know, Teresa, you can be the one doing all the work. So you can pedal harder than anybody else at the minute. And then somebody, when Teresa gets tired, she kind of, if she was for real, she'd probably stick her elbow out or something, which would be right behind her, which she was going to pull out and drop to the back. And the next person is up at the front. So you want a continuous movement of bikes, and it forms almost like a bike chain. So well, I think we need an order here. So Teresa's dropped to the back. Esther, you're going to take it up. So on you go. And although you don't actually, in reality, go faster, you have to pedal harder because you are going.
Yeah.
But Molly, sliding nicely to the back and catching her breath. Molly's taking it up. Right, Molly's coming off the front now. So Ellie, you're putting in that little extra bit of effort into the wind. Well done. Nicely held. And we're all just sitting behind, hiding. And Ellie's going to blow this game as well. Just catch it to your turn. So Katie's keeping it up now. legs, get out of here. So she's dropping back, and Steve is taking on the mantle of getting us along this bit of road. And he's being pursued by Ian. So as soon as Steve drops out of his bit of effort, Ian takes it on. And then Linda, I hope you're ready. It's your turn in a minute.
Right.
All right, Ian's dropping off the front and Linda is leading us homewards. Done. Right. The distance in the front. Right, Linda. Nice job. We'll let Sue take the finishing straight on this bit. Oh, I love the change. That's great.
Yeah.
Right, that's lovely. Now we're going to take a very brief break at 90, take the resistance off and recover a little bit. Because I kid you not, to get home from here, there's one steep hill. They've done all that charging along the flat, and then we turn left and go through a farm. We have to cross over a crossroads. Actually, it's not that bad at all, this one. We're going into Heverton, which doesn't even has a hotel, but it's not cool. Don't really want to go there. And it has a church, nothing else, apart from some houses. So we do have to go up, though. And we're doing pretty well because we've turned our noses towards home. And then 3, 2, 1. Up you get. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and whoo, sit down. And I can see you doing the classic thing at the top of the hill, as people do, and they just go, oh, thank God I've got to the top. I'm just going to slump over my handlebars and not really concentrate for the next 20 seconds because I need to breathe and recover. So we'll do that. And that's lovely. And we're now bending our way home, and we're going to come through Kendal eventually, but we haven't quite got there yet. There's a few weekly bits and lefts and rights. And we're going to go, sorry, up, but only for 5. 3, 2, 1, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And sit and spin your legs because it's up a sharp little bit and then it's down through an area that quite often floods, but it's quite steep. I can't change that quick enough to keep up with the road. Better. Or what I wanted. Spinning away really fast. Nice and easy though. Just that very fast cadence because the bike's going faster than the gears. We're going down around a couple of bends. We've actually done a bit of the circuit on the road, and we're back to the top of the deer park where the really good cakes and the Levens Hall. So it's beautiful trees. It's a really nice walk through there. Quite good going. And then let's ease it off to 90. Gather your breath for a bit. Because it is, we're not going to stand, but there's a bit of a drag going back into Kendal. And I kid you not, this is reality.
Yeah, indeed.
We come through Sedgwick where they hate cyclists and moan all the time about us. But it has an old canal viaduct, yeah. No bridge with an old kind of canal pathway on the top. And it doesn't even have a pub, it just has houses. So we're going through that, and then we start the pull up to Kendal. So we want to be on 60. So it's that kind of hardish resistance pushing away, and it's a gentle, gradual uphill. And there's as we get near the top, there's a left-hand turn to a riding stables that we're not going to take. We want to stay on the road. We have lots of villages with nothing in them, because eventually we'll end up at Natland, which is another little village that used to have a shop and doesn't anymore. It has a school, but no pub. That's weird. It has a school and a church, but no pub. And they've just built loads of new houses. They must have almost doubled it. Well done. They're getting nicely up that thing. It's starting to look a little weary. Maybe we'll run the flat into Kendal relatively easily. So I've gone back to 90. Just a nice, easy, relatively nice, flattish piece of road, drifting back into Kendal. If you need a drink, have one, because when you live where I live, there's another bit on the other side. So this is the second most dangerous part of the journey. You've managed to negotiate the downhill and the main road to start. Riding through Kendal is lethal. There is a pedestrian and bicycle only bit in inverted commas, which also has taxis and buses in the middle of town. And nobody looks before they step out. So a pilot has to be on high alert through here. And then we're going to do some, no, I don't think we can do the wiggly bits. Tandem won't go through them. Won't go around the corners on the pedestrian bridge, so we'll stay on the road. We'll go past the police station instead. And there's one massive pothole, so we'll miss that. Thank you very much. And then we're going round that. It's very boring. Past the Duke of Cumberland, which is a pub, but you do not want to go to that one. And then we're going to pass the most exciting supermarkets in the world, Morrison's and Sainsbury's. Not too much fun. And then we're coming out of Kendal, and we're coming out and up the road towards my house. And I did warn you, we're about 2.5 miles from Kendal. That far? Maybe not that far. And you think it's kind of flat, but it kind of isn't. And there's always a headwind. So just when you're feeling really tired, you need to keep the 90, but just nudge the resistance up, because that's the reality of my rides home. Is I think why I don't commute hugely, because it's just like, really? And then we've still got to face the hill that we came down. Which is in reality, I kid you not, it's a 1 in 4.
Is it tea and cakes when we get back to your house?
Yeah, I can give you tea and cakes. So we're slogging up the A6, and this is, you can't really chat on this because it's that fast traffic again. And then we're going to turn right, and we are going to have to stand because it's steep. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and stand. And I'm sorry, it's all so long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And you can sit and keep pushing because that's what it's like. It's a bit of a sting in the tail of any ride we do if we have to get home. And then that 60, I'm not going to put the metronome on, but the last little steepish bit.
60.
You
Practice.
see, so slow cadence, quite hard work still, even though you've been standing, because it's just horrible. And okay, easy resistance a bit, but unfortunately, still it is a slight uphill now, so it's not still free. But I can see our house, we're almost there. We'll go 3, 2, 1. And you've arrived in the gravel yard. Well done.
Okay.
But for the
Great.
purposes of tonight, if you're watching this on record, please sit on your back for another 5 minutes and spin your legs. And then record off so you guys can all chat.
That is the end of the class recording. Complete your cool down until your heart rate and body temperature have returned to more comfortable levels. This recording will play for a further 5 minutes to help you complete your warm down, but there will be no sound until the end of 5 minutes. The next class is on the 6th of February, 2024. We hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you. Vision of Adventure. That is the end of the cool down period. Well done on completing the fitness class brought to you by Vision of Adventure. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to be notified when the next video is ready or to come back and repeat this class another time.